Hey, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about something called artificial selection. And this is something that you're already familiar with, whether or not you're aware of that. But this is something that we also refer to as selective breeding and domestication. So, this is something that you encounter every day with your pets and with the food in your refrigerator and at the grocery store. This is something that Darwin referred to when he wrote his book, The Origin of Species, as a way to back up his ideas about natural selection. He basically said, well, we've been doing this for years as a human race where we've been growing food and breeding animals. So this was something that he used to support his theory. The difference is natural selection. Nature is selecting which traits fit best for the environment, whereas in artificial selection, we as humans are choosing which traits fit best for what we want, what's useful to us and what's desirable to us. So many examples of this, and we've talked about a few of them in class. Obviously, dogs. So if you look at this picture, all of those dogs are the same species. So you can see there's a huge variety of traits in terms of what we have selected for or against. So maybe we need a dog that's really good at herding sheep. So that's going to be certain traits that we're looking to replicate. Or maybe we need a dog that fits inside of your purse. So that's another type of trait that we're going to try to create again over time and over generations. Chickens are a great example. So from the 1950s up until today, chickens have gotten 4 times bigger. So we are breeding them to be nice, meaty chickens because that best serves our purpose for what we're using them for. Racehorses are another example. So we want to pick the horses that are the fastest and the strongest, and those are the ones that we want to then breed to have more of in the future. That's a trait that we are selecting for. Cows, this one is pretty incredible. That's a real cow. It's called a Belgian Blue. It has like double muscles. It's a real thing. I think it's kind of scary, but that's a trait that then serves humans. So we are selecting for that. Pigs are another one. So over time, we have bred pigs to be domesticated where they have lost all that extra fur and the tusks, and kind of like the cows, we want to breed the pigs to be nice and meaty, and that is what is desirable that we are trying to replicate. Corn, so many varieties of corn. We talked about this in class. This little thing over here, corn originally was a type of grass called teosinte, and then over time we planted the type of corn that we wanted so we could get bigger kernels. Another one here, Queen Anne's lace. This flower right here that you've probably seen growing in the ditch somewhere is actually wild carrot. And so here's the root, because carrot's basically a root. You're eating the root. And over time we have planted the bigger ones. And then, so there's actually a huge variety, but what we have selected for over time is this kind of carrot that you're looking at over here. This is probably my favorite because I didn't know this until I was doing a little bit of research so I could explain this to you guys. But all of these vegetables that most people are unfortunately against, I've come to like them over time. But cabbage, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, all of these are the same species. They're all Brassica oleracea. I think I said that right. Actually, there's a restaurant in town called Brassica. Maybe you've eaten there before. But all of these are the same exact species. It's just that what we're selecting for is the trait that's going to be developed. So that might be with Brussels sprouts. These are cool looking plants. They have all these little, basically tiny cabbages on the side. That lateral means side. So we're selecting for those little cabbage buds that grow all along the side of the stalk. And something like Broccoli, the broccoli that you're eating is actually the flower. So kind of interesting stuff. Strawberries, over time, we have selected the bigger ones, which is kind of unfortunate because we've actually lost flavor in strawberries. As we've selected for the size, we've lost flavor. Bananas we've talked about. We've selected for the ones with the smaller seeds. We basically eliminated the seeds. Same with watermelon. This one's kind of cool. So this was from a painting in like the 1600s compared to today. So we have gotten rid of like that inedible kind of gross white part, and the seeds have gotten smaller and smaller, and now we have varieties that don't have any seeds. This is just an amazing picture I had to include. So there's some artist out there that is doing sculpture with watermelons, and that one caught my eye. Thought you might appreciate it. So what are some potential problems with this? Basically, if we're really paying attention to one trait and developing that one trait, that might be at the cost of the overall health of the species. So that might be an issue. We're reducing the genetic variation. We talked about that with the banana, that could be a problem, that it makes that species more vulnerable for if there's a problem, there's less variety that could potentially have a trait that could help them survive through the problem. You probably heard about problems with purebred dogs where they might have different issues with like skin or hips or breathing problems. So kind of the idea of you could have recessive genetic conditions pop up more often if you have fewer genetic variation that you're working with. And I mentioned we're losing flavor with our strawberries, which is sad. I also read that we are losing some nutritional value with carrots. So if we are selecting for size, then that might be at the cost of another trait. And those super muscles, like we looked at with the cow and with horses, that if there's such muscle development, that could cause problems with bones and joints and other issues with the body overall. So hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.